Hey everyone, welcome back. We're diving deep into the world of country music today.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, a listener sent in this podcast episode called The Heart and Soul of Country Music.
I love that title.
Right, it totally captures it. So we're going to be exploring the roots, the evolution, the whole shebang of country music.
Sounds like a plan.
So let's start at the beginning. The podcast really emphasizes how country music was born in the rural South in the early 1900s.
Absolutely. It's all about capturing that American spirit, especially in those rural communities. Think about it. Generations of storytellers pouring their hearts out through music, sharing those joys and struggles.
Yeah, and speaking of storytellers, we can't talk about early country music without mentioning Jimmie Rodgers and the Carter family.
Right. Pioneers, the both of them. Rodgers, the father of country music with his yodeling and those railroad tales. Man, he just embodied that sense of wanderlust and hardship.
Totally. And then you've got the Carter family, bringing those traditional folk songs to life with their harmonies and ballads. Like, they painted a picture of everyday life in rural America, both the good and the bad.
And, they really laid the foundation for what country music would become. You can hear their influence in so many artists who came after them.
Yeah. And it's crazy how, even today, you can instantly recognize that classic country sound.
Oh, absolutely. The acoustic guitar, the fiddle, the banjo, the harmonica. It's such a
It really-
distinctive blend.
It just hits different, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. That raw acoustic sound is the heart of it. But it's those lyrics that really get to you. Country music tells stories, real stories, about love and loss, hardship, and those simple joys of life. It connects with people on such a deep level.
Yeah, it's all about that connection. And speaking of connections, the podcast talks about how radio shows like the Grand Ole Opry brought country music to a wider audience in the 1930s and 40s.
The Grand Ole Opry. Man, that's more than just a radio show. It's an institution. Gave so many artists a platform and solidified country music's place in American culture.
It's synonymous with country music, right?
Absolutely. Launched careers, created legends, and it's still going strong today.
And this era also gave us Hank Williams. The podcast mentions how his songs about heartbreak and hardship really hit home for people, especially after World War II.
Oh, Hank Williams. He wasn't afraid to get real, to sing about the tough stuff. Loneliness, heartbreak, struggle. It resonated with people who felt like they were on the outside looking in.
Yeah, like a voice for the voiceless.
Exactly. Like his song, what was it? Lost Highway.
Yeah.
Released in '49, right after the war. That song really spoke to those feelings of displacement and uncertainty so many were dealing with.
Oh, powerful stuff. Then we move into the 50s and 60s and the rise of the Nashville sound. The podcast talks about how it was all about polished production and smoother sounds, with artists like Patsy Cline and Jim Reeves leading the charge.
Yeah, the Nashville sound, it definitely brought country music to a whole new audience, huge commercial success. But it also sparked some debate, right? Like, was it evolving the genre or sacrificing its authenticity for mainstream appeal? What do you think about that?
I mean, it's an interesting question, right? Like, did that shift alienate some of the core audience who felt like it was straying too far from its roots? And then, that kind of leads us to the 70s and outlaw country.
Oh, yeah. Outlaw country, a total rebellion. Artists like Willie Nelson and Waylon Jennings, they were like, forget the polish, we're doing things our way. It was gritty, independent, pushing those boundaries of what people thought country music should be.
And it really embraced that storytelling tradition,
Yeah.
right? Like, in your notes, you mentioned how much you love the storytelling in country music.
They do. And those outlaw country artists, they were masters of it. Their songs are packed with vivid characters, gritty tales, that whole sense of individualism.
Yeah.
Really resonated with folks who felt like they didn't fit the mold.
Right. And you can't talk about country music without talking about the instruments.
Yeah.
That unique blend. The weeping steel guitar, the resonating dobro, the lively mandolin.
Ugh, so good. Each one brings something special to the mix, weaves this incredible sonic tapestry.
And then there's those vocals, that twang and raw emotion that make those stories come to life.
Yeah, it's that raw authenticity, that vulnerability that just pulls you in.
Totally. And country music's had a huge impact on other genres, too. Rock, pop, Americana. The podcast brings up Johnny Cash and Dolly Parton as examples of artists who, transcended genres and became global icons. What do you think it is about them that allow them to reach such a diverse audience?
I think they stayed true to their roots while also being fearless innovators. They weren't afraid to experiment, to blend genres, to address those social issues in their music, pushing boundaries, expanding what country music could be, and reaching so many people in the process.
And the podcast also talks about how country music often reflects the values and experiences of its audience, exploring themes of rural life, love, loss, patriotism.
Absolutely. It's a voice for the working class, the underdogs, the marginalized, those who often feel like they're not being heard. And those themes of resilience, faith, community, it offers comfort and connection.
It's like a shared experience.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we come to the modern era, where artists like Taylor Swift, Luke Bryan, and Casey Musgraves are shaping country music for new generations, blending traditional sounds with contemporary influences. It's pretty cool to see.
It is. Like, they're drawing from that rich well of tradition while bringing their own fresh perspectives and sounds to the table, pushing those boundaries, experimenting, keeping country music dynamic and evolving.
And we can't forget the impact of the digital age. Streaming services and social media have completely changed how music is created and consumed.
Right. It's a double-edged sword. It's incredible how artists can now connect with fans directly, build a global audience. But there are challenges too, right? Revenue, competition. It's a wild ride.
Yeah, a constantly evolving landscape. The podcast ends by mentioning the importance of organizations like the Country Music Hall of Fame and festivals in preserving the legacy of country music.
So important. They celebrate the pioneers, showcase the up-and-comers, and ensure that future generations can experience this incredible musical heritage.
It's like keeping the spirit alive.
Exactly.
So, wow, our deep dive's taken us through the whole history of country music, its humble beginnings, that rebellious spirit, and the constant evolution. It's amazing how it stays connected to its core values while constantly changing. What are your thoughts? Like, what aspects of country music resonate most with you, and why do you think this genre keeps captivating people all over the world?
For me, it's that storytelling aspect. It's about tapping into those universal emotions: love, loss, joy, sorrow. It's about that sense of community, that shared experience, those real-life struggles and triumphs. It's honest, authentic, and it speaks straight to the heart.
It's true. Music has this incredible power to connect us all, and country music does it in such a raw, real way. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive. Can't wait to do another one with you soon.
Me too. This was fun.
Until next time, folks, keep those country tunes playing.